You're listening to Operation Self Reset, talking about Napoleon Hill's 17 Rules of Success. What is going on, you freaking awesome people? Welcome back to Operation Self Reset. My name is Jake Naraki, coming to you live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and my quest for you is to become freaking awesome. And how do we do that? We ingrain it by developing and creating an amazing foundation of personal development so you can become a better business expert, a better parent, a better individual, and of course, reach those dreams, ambitions, and internal drives that you are craving but for some odd reason aren't reaching. And today we're going to really harness and tap into the inner psyche and talk about Napoleon Hill's keys to success. Now, Napoleon Hill is an individual that created, or I should say wrote, an amazing book called Think and Grow Rich. If you are in the world of personal development, you probably heard of it. If you are not, well then hopefully this will open your eyes to the possibilities in a new book for you to read about. Now, Napoleon Hill was an individual that was born back in the late 1870s, and out of that he kind of wanted to figure out what takes a man from nothing and creates it into something. How are people able to create massive wealth, massive impact in a world where things were just starting to get going? That's when, steel was starting to get manufactured. That's when steel or steam power was coming into the picture. That's when huge factories were getting developed, and he wanted to understand what did it take to create a massive business and create massive wealth and create a massive impact from an individual that started as nothing. And from there, he wrote this book called Think and Grow Rich, and to help and to pull back the curtain for individuals like myself, you, others, to understand that there are a couple of traits and ideas that are needed to build upon what you have going so you can reach that destination of whatever it is. Now, to give you a little bit of disclaimer here, Napoleon Hill was not about the money. He wasn't about how do you make millions and millions of dollars. When we think of success today, it's a different term than success back in the mid 1900s. Success back in the day is when we thought about money because nobody had money. Only the elites had the money, and it was so hard to try to claw or get yourself up that mountain. And so Napoleon Hill did a great job of pulling back the curtain and allowing us to listen into some deep conversations to understand what these successful people went through to get where they were at that time. Now, how does this apply to us in 2018? The same theories, facts, and ideas and strategies truly do apply to us today, because it's not so much about, you first gotta get a license, and then you got to build the business and all that stuff. He really dives into about the mental side of creating something. And as we know, if you are striving for something, if you're looking to get an interview, if you're looking to improve your fitness or to build better relationships personally or in business, it's not so much about the actual steps. It's about the confidence. It's about the habits. It's about the routines. It's about what you put into your mind to allow you to stand in front of the group and to say, hey, you know what, I want to get to know you. Hey, you know what, I have this great idea. I'm going to pitch it to you, whatever the case may be. And so hopefully out of the course of the next, 20 minutes here, we can talk about a couple of ideas out of Napoleon Hill's playbook here of his 17 ideas or keys towards success. Now, we're not going to talk about all 17 ideas because you have access to a computer. If you're probably listening to this podcast, you can go on the Google machine, interweb, or whatever, and type in Napoleon Hill 17 Keys to Success, and it'll pop up all over the place. But I really want to highlight 5 ideas that I think are really essence and the baseline, the truth behind success. And it's almost like you're building a soup, right? Or a jambalaya. And the roux contains flour, onion, celery, and there's another ingredient, carrots, I think it is, to create this roux, almost like the base of what can be. And I believe that these are 5 ideas that everybody should know, learn, and of course, put more into your life. As you hear these, Don't be surprised if it's something like, oh, I've heard this before. I get it. I'm not that intrigued by it. It's not that, amazing to me. But the things that are easy to do are also easy not to do. We know we should be listening or reading good content, but do we on a regular basis? Probably not. We know that we need to work on our bodies every single day. We need to try to go out there and exercise. It's good for our soul, it's good for our mind, it's good for our overall confidence. But do we do that? Not necessarily, especially when the weather's tough or time gets kind of cramped. The things that are easy to do are also easy not to do. So please listen along with some of these ideas, and hopefully they assist you in your progression of where you want to go personally and professionally in your life. So the first lesson that I want to talk about is truly number 1 and number 2. And the first lesson that Napoleon Hill talks about is develop definedness of purpose. Now, this is what he states. Where are you going? Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. Cherish your vision and your dreams as they are children of your soul, the blueprints of your ultimate achievement. That's from Napoleon Hill. That was number 1. But I'm going to pair it up with number 2 here, and that is establish a mastermind alliance. Now, before I read what he states as a mastermind alliance, I want to give you a little bit of an idea of why I feel that these two are linked together. Because number 1, you need to have a purpose. You need to have a want, a drive, a desire, a thing that you strive after. If you don't have that in your life currently, you're not going to be able to wake up with energy, vigor, to sit down, to journal, to read, to develop yourself into that person that you want to become. People that are lost are individuals that are getting sucked into the vortex of society. They're getting sucked into the glitz and the glamour of what other companies are producing, what other shows are on, what movies are going on, and they're becoming a consumer of the world. And the last thing that you want to do as an individual is become a consumer of the world, as in, you're waiting for the next movie to come out. As in, you can't wait for that Netflix series number 2 to come back out. As in, you're looking at technology and you can't wait until the new iMac comes out, or a computer, or a car, or whatever it is that tickles your internal soul that wants you to purchase or to buy. And out of that, because you do have money of some sort, you are working in a profession, you are moving towards something. If you don't have a drive that pulls you out of bed, that gets you moving, you are truly a consumer of society. And that's the last thing you want to be, because you're not in the driver's seat. You're truly in the back of the bus with everybody else, joking and smoking back there, having a good time. You're enjoying life, no doubt about it, but you have no control of where you're going. You're kind of lost in the abyss. And when it comes to becoming your best, you need to have that drive. You have to have that want. You have to have that thing that you're really striving for. And when you do that, you're able to kind of have that aha, that wow factor. Now, the question is, how do you find that? Jake, I don't have a purpose. I don't know where I'm going in my life. I really want to build a business. I really want to build my new self. Where do I begin? Where do you begin really becomes down to the truth. The truth is in what's in your mind, of what's in your body, what's in your soul. If you don't know what's in your body, your mind, or soul, you need to start writing that down. You need to set time aside, not for just daydreaming, not just for general thinking, but for actual writing. And there's a lot of studies and a lot of science behind the idea of journaling. And the journaling fact is not so much of you getting better handwriting, even though in the world where handwriting has kind of dissipated, but it's really to connect and to really sort the thoughts that are coming through your body. In the beginning of journaling, you're going to be bad at it. You're not really going to enjoy it because it's going to be tough on your hand. Your hand's going to cramp up. You haven't been writing in a long time or what have you. But it allows you to get clarity on what it is that you want to create in the world. Create is a unique word. Create is not so much about create with your hands, but create with your mind, create with your body, create with your family, create with your overall experience on this planet. And that's really up for you to decide. And the one thing that you can do on a regular basis is to think and to write, to capture that down. If you want to use technology, that's cool. I think technology is great, but at the same time, I get distracted. I'm going to go on the internet. I'm going to start, cleaning up my desktop. I'm going to start, filing and looking at pictures. I'm going to get distracted. So I know that if I pull myself away from technology and just journal on pieces of paper, I'll have a better experience. And so if you need somewhere to start there and give yourself literally a 30-day challenge, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is, every single day to sit down and journal. Some of the best, brilliant minds of the world still set aside an hour a day of silence. A silence to themselves, to journal, to figure out, to game plan, to kind of organize with no distractions, no technology interfering with their clarity of their purpose, their soul, their mind going out into the abyss. And so the reason why I linked number 2 lesson, which was establish a mastermind, is because you need to have some people that support what it is that you're going out into the world to or for. Because it's really hard to start a journey of 1,000,000 miles by yourself. There's a great quote, the start of 1,000,000 miles starts with the first step. And I think that's really cool and really good. But before the step even takes place, there are people and things that have assisted that individual to take the first step. Maybe it was the parents that gave them the idea. Maybe it was the tailor who gave him the nice shoes of taking that first step. Maybe it was the canteen company that allowed him to pack water on his trip of 1,000,000 miles. There's people that are always behind the individual. We see on the Olympics people that do marvelous things, but we don't know the amount of coaches and trainers and massagers and acupuncturists and doctors and all different types of people that are behind these brilliant athletes. We see the result. We see the individual standing on the podium, but we don't see the massive amount of support and trainers behind that individual to make them who they are today. And so the reason why I feel that's so important to get a mastermind behind your purpose, your passion, the thing that you're building, because if you don't, you're going to lose your place. You're going to get lost in the chaos of world. You're going to get sucked into the vortex of the consumer type of lifestyle. And when you do that, you're going to get bumped off your mission. You're going to get bumped off your path, and you don't want that to happen to you, because I've seen it happen too many times where people have the vision, the ideas, the drive, everything is there, and they jump into the pool and realize, whew, this pool is pretty cold, and I was not prepared for it, and they crawl out, and that's it. And so you got to make sure that your purpose and passion is backed with somebody that can support you. You maybe think yourself, Jake, I don't know where to find those people. I can't find them in my normal family. I can't find them in my friends. I can't find them in my business associates. Where can you find it? The best place to find it is probably meetup.com. Meetup.com is a website that brings people together. If you're into cutting grass or sewing, cooking, journaling, just painting, whatever, it brings like-minded people together in the same room, and they talk, they do activities, they hang out, they go to different places, what have you, and it's a great resource to check out. So there's your one resource for today. Now, this is what Napoleon Hill talks about establishing a mastermind alliance. A mastermind alliance is built on 2 or more minds working together in perfect harmony for the attainment of a common objective. In Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill describes a mastermind as coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between 2 or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. And so basically understanding that if you want to go somewhere, pair up with somebody to help you on that journey moving forward. So that was my lesson number 1. I know it was 2 of them, but combined together out of Napoleon Hill's 17 Principles of Personal Achievement. The second key that I want to talk about today is a lesson from lesson number 3, assemble an attractive personality. This is what it states. A pleasant personality is well-rounded according to Hill. There are 25 characteristics of personality to work on. Your personality is your greatest asset or liability. Now, a asset and liability, I should probably start there, is this. An asset is a benefit to a company, organization, to yourself, to the world. A liability is basically you're going to cause ill will. It's going to cause pain or irritation or time against whatever it is that you're working towards. And to create a true attraction of personality, you need to understand that what you put out into the world comes back to you 100%. If you walk around the world angry, depressed, sad, irritated, all those things, guess what you're going to find? You're going to find more irritation. You're going to find more anger. You're going to find more depression, more things to hate, more things to be irritated about. And it's one of those things that none of us want that. At times we become that. At times through life or issues, we come across that. But to really make the most out of your life, to make the most out of your journey, you need to try your best. Try your best to have a great mindset, to have a great personality, to be happy, to be likable, to share gratitude with other individuals. When you do that, you're opening doors. The more doors you open allows more people to come on in, but also with that, it allows you to understand that if you open the doors, you are bringing in possibly more people to be your mastermind group, more people to possibly be a part of your journey, more people to support you when you need them. Because in life, there's going to be death. There's going to be financial ill will. There's going to be health issues. There's going to be breakups. There's going to be irritation in every single person's life. There is no golden standard of life. It's what you choose, and the way that you handle your situations will determine the way that you go about your life. And if you're able to do that in a way that is enjoyable to others, they will be there 100-fold to support you in that progress. So that was step or key number 2. So let's get into key number 3 here of Napoleon Hill's 17 Principles of Personal Achievement. It would say have to be lesson number 7, build a positive mental attitude. Now, this is something I talked about before, but let's hear what Napoleon Hill has to say. This quote from Napoleon Hill: thoughts mixed with definites of purpose, persistence, and a burning desire are powerful things. Now, you need to remember that in the world that we live in today, there's peaks and valleys. There's zigs and zags of how we operate on a daily basis. Some days you wake up with a stomach ache. Some days you feel amazing. Some days you have a migraine. Some days you feel like you're walking on water and you're connecting and high-fiving everybody. We understand that. But how do we have a level consistency of the way that we go out into the world? And the only way to do that is to surround ourselves and to have a positive mindset, a positive being. How do we achieve that positive mindset? Well, number 1, you're listening to great content here. Number 2, we get it from books. Number 3, we can get it from podcasts, audiobooks, lectures, seminars, events, meetup groups, and obviously connecting with people that are like-minded or people that are as driven or even more driven than us. And getting back to the mastermind philosophy, I don't want you to ever feel that you are the smartest or the most disciplined and or the most driven person in the room. If you want to up-level your life, you need to surround yourself with people that are more driven, that are more passionate, that have more commitment and more discipline than you, so you can be pulled by them instead of pulling others. Because if you're pulling others up the chain of success or up the chain of advancement, you're going to get exhausted. And when you're exhausted, you lose your way and you get burnt out. So, I would highly suggest to continue listening to great podcasts like this, reading great books, maybe just doing whatever you can to keep your mind sharp. If you lose the sharpness of your mind, you lose your path. Once you lose your path, then obviously bad things are going to sneak on in. And once that happens, things are going to fall apart. Jim Rome has a great quote: be the gatekeeper of your mind. Be the gatekeeper of your mind. Be very aware of what you're watching, what you're listening to, who you're hanging around with, the general conversation, because you don't want to get caught up in that mess because it may not allow you to become who you can potentially be. That was number 3. Let's get into number 4. Enforce self-discipline. Self-discipline means taking a possession of your own tongue, emotions, mental attitude, dieting and fasting, politics and religion of your own mind. Now, self-discipline, according to Napoleon Hill, is a little bit different than today's self-discipline. Self-discipline is a huge phenomenon in the neuroscience region. It is a huge understanding of if we want to get things done, if we want to create impact, success, great things that happen in our life, we need to have the self-discipline that goes hand in hand with it. But along with that, we also understand that there's bad habits that are in association with the good habits that are put in front of us. Now, self-discipline is understanding that when we decide to do something, we do it. Easier said than done. The things that are easy to do are also easy not to do. Waking up at a certain time is easy to do the night before, but it's hard to do the next morning. Saying you're not going to have any banana bread is easy to do until the oven is filled with delicious smelling banana bread and everybody's gobbling it down. We all understand that. But when you do understand that if you want to make the impact, if you want to move forward, you need to create that discipline needed for you to finally understand that it is possible. And when things are possible and you finally do start to build on the discipline that you created by simply doing one simple task of drinking, 2 glasses of water in the morning, brushing your teeth right away, waking up, reading, whatever it is, you're able to start leveraging that as a good trait, a good habit. When good habits start to stick together, great things start to happen. And when you start to continue and do that over time, discipline creates and fortifies those ideas, those procedures, those standard operating guidelines in your life, and they allow you to move forward. People that are successful today in any facet, from relationships to the business world, they have a set of habits and routines that they do on a daily basis that are built into their life, and they do them subconsciously. I'm not going to get into the document and the conversation of conscious versus subconscious, but the truth is, there's a lot of power of understanding that if you want to make the absolute most impact in your life, you have to do it by creating those habits and routines. If you want to know how people are able to keep married for 80 years, 50 years, whatever it is, watch their habits. They sleep in the same bed together. They talk every single day. They have the same types of hobbies or routines, whatever it is, and they're able to do that. The same if you want to understand how business success happens. It's the same thing. Every single day, creating that self-discipline. So that was number 4. And the last one that I want to talk about is this. Now, again, there's a lot of great ideas out of these 17 habits. If that interests you, please obviously go and check out Napoleon Hill's 17 Principles of Personal Achievement. So the last one is this. Learn from adversity and defeat. Individual success can be an exact proportion of the scope of defeat an individual has experienced and mastered. Every adversity carries with it the seed of equivalent of greater benefit. Now, we understand that when you fall, you should get up. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Nobody's going to keep me down. That song, by the Oompa Choomba or something like that, I think it was called. There's a lot of understanding that when things don't happen, we stand back up and we keep on moving forward. All of us have a drive to push through the pain. All of us do. If you lose your job, your bank's coming down on you, life is getting tough, majority of us will stand up to the occasion and we'll fight for ourselves, we'll fight for our families, we'll get there. The hardest part, though, is when you do fail at something and yet you're still comfortable. As in, you have a corporate job, you have a decent relationship, things are going good in your life, but you want them to be better. And so you choose to go out there. You choose to start up a little side project on the side, or you choose to invest and create a better atmosphere for that relationship. And either that business fails or that relationship that you're trying to groom is not getting the same type of energy from that significant other or that other individual. That's a rejection. That's a failure. And when we're doing okay, a lot of us go, well, that's all right. I tried to make it work. I'm irritated at the situation, but what have you. And so the key, though, to success is not understanding that when you fail, it's okay to give up. It's when you fail to adjust and to keep on moving. When professional athletes fail at a sport or the activity or that thing? Do they say, well, it's nice to know you guys. Unfortunately, I'm not able to continue. No, they show up the next week and the next week and the next week, and they push forward. But the most important part of that is that they adjust. It's not so much about just pushing forward and just keep on going, never give up. It's about adjusting and understanding and watching the footage and going, holy geez, I totally messed up there. I got to make sure I never do that again. But in our own personal world, our own personal life, when we start a business or a side project and it doesn't go good, we throw it to the curb and we go, well, I tried at least, good for me, but it didn't pan out. No, what went right, what went wrong. And from there, you zig and zag to make it right. The same with your relationships. You understand that you can throw people to the curb anytime you want and go, well, that relationship, that person blew up at me, and I'm just going to kick them to the curb. I'm never going to talk to them again. But at the same time, you have the ability to watch the footage, to replay it, and to understand what you did right, what they did wrong, or what they did right, and what you did wrong, vice versa, and to make it work and to continue forward. That's how businesses operate today. That's how successful individuals that are making impact in the world, they understand that there's going to be times when nobody wants to use their product, service, or use their small business, but they understand the greater good, and they understand that they need to adjust, watch the footage, and grow from it. So those are my 5 kind of keys out of the 17 ideas from Napoleon Hill. Hopefully they assisted you guys, and hopefully they allowed you to continuously move forward in your progression of becoming your personal best. I appreciate your guys' time, and if there's anything that you can do for me, it would be to leave a review on iTunes. The more reviews on iTunes allows me to get a bigger reach into the world out there. So I appreciate your guys' time. I thank you for everything that you're doing for yourselves. You guys are good enough, smart enough, and gosh darn it, people truly do like you. Go out there, stand up straight, put out your best self, have an attractive personality. Understand when you are defeated, replay the tapes, figure out what went right and what went wrong. Say that 10 times fast, and you will create your own level of success. So I appreciate you guys. Go out there in the world and do something freaking awesome. I appreciate every one of you guys, and we'll catch you next week, Wednesday, for another great episode of Operation Self Reset. We'll see ya.